Kenya is in turmoil. The streets are filled with chants of anger, frustration, and desperation. Ruto must go. This is the cry heard from Nairobi to Mombasa as the Kenyan people rise up against a government they believe has failed them. President William Ruto, once a beacon of hope, now stands at the center of a storm. His proposed finance bill, aimed at raising $2.3 billion in national revenue, has sparked outrage across the nation. Higher taxes on essential goods like cooking oil and bread were the tipping point. People already struggling with the high cost of living found themselves pushed to the brink. Ruto's response? A trip to Washington, D.C., where he became the first African president to be hosted by President Biden at the White House. Kenya was designated a major non-NATO ally, a historical moment overshadowed by the growing unrest back home. The Biden administration pledged helicopters and armored vehicles for Kenya's military, but what about the Kenyan people? Back home, the protests continued. Even after Ruto withdrew the contentious tax hikes, the anger didn't subside. Tear gas filled the air as security forces clashed with demonstrators demanding broader economic reforms and greater accountability. The people of Kenya are not just fighting against a finance bill, they're fighting against a system that they believe has betrayed them. There are allegations of corruption, of lavish spending on trips abroad, while the people languish in poverty. Over 65% of Kenyan youth are unemployed, yet the president can afford to hire expensive jets to fly him around the world. He is accused of losing touch with the common people, becoming a puppet of foreign nations, prioritizing their objectives over the needs of his own citizens. Kenya, a nation with a proud history of independence, now finds itself at a crossroads. As other African nations turn east for development partnerships, Ruto's government seems to be heading back to a form of modern-day colonialism. The Kenyan people are demanding change. They want a leader who understands their struggles, who prioritizes their needs over foreign interests. The world watches as Kenya navigates this period of unrest. The government's response has drawn criticism from human rights organizations calling for restraint and dialogue. The eyes of the world are on Kenya, waiting to see if the cries of the people will lead to real change. In these moments of chaos, the spirit of the Kenyan people shines through. They are determined, resilient, and united in their fight for a better tomorrow. Ruto must go, they chant, not just as a call for the president's resignation, but as a plea for a future where their voices are heard, their struggles acknowledged, and their hopes realized. Kenya is at a turning point, and the actions taken today will shape the nation's future for generations to come. The people have spoken, and now it is up to the leaders to listen. Stay safe, stay informed, and remember, the power of change lies in your hands.